Hey, this is Brett the Hitman Hart, and you're listening to the Smacked Raw podcast.
What? Okay, well, has this always been a thing? Where have I been?
Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to the Survivor Series prediction show brought to you by the SmackDown podcast. I am your host, Katie Bebe, and obviously I'm not joined by a male, which is crazy. Today I am joined by my fellow wrestling lover, my good friend, Savannah!
Hello!
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm just trying to calm the nerves still, but I'm doing better than I thought already.
That's all that matters. This is Savannah's first podcast, so everyone be nice.
Please be nice.
Just be nice.
Like,
That's all we ask. So before we get into Survivor Series predictions, typically we are live on twitch.tv/putting you over. You can find us there Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and the occasional Saturday or Sunday, which you can catch us there Sunday after Survivor Series. If you miss a live stream, we have the video form up on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/SmackDrop Hit the notification bell so you get notified every time we post a new video. Subscribe. Savannah subscribed?
Yeah, I subscribe to everything. I follow them on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for a little bit, but then I realized it was the wrong thing, but...
But that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Loyalty. Savannah's part of the SmackDown fam, and you guys should be too. And I'll explain how in a minute. So if you don't like watching podcasts, which I understand, if you like to listen, we have the audio form up on a plethora of podcast platforms. Basically, anything you can think of, we are on it. Make sure you download and do whatever it is. You leave a review. That's what you do for audio podcasts. Also, we are the exclusive recap for Wrestling News World, which the little icon, if you're watching the video, is above Savannah's head. There, you point to it exactly.
All right.
Check out their website. Make it your home for all of your wrestling news, wants, and needs by checking out their articles, podcasts, premium content, etc., etc. And how you can join the SmackDown fam, but most of you already are, and you are in our hearts, you can subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/SmackDrawPodcast. You can get early access to our pre-recorded YouTube videos, stickers, which Savannah has.
Yes, I have one on my laptop case, which I cannot show because I am using the camera right now.
On it. It makes sense. I have one on my phone. It usually... There we go.
My phone's too small for it to fit. But if I ever get a bigger phone, best know I'll put one on there.
There we go. You can do... what are they called? UWO, Hot Take Opinions. That's what they're called. Wow. And you can submit a video saying your hottest take in wrestling, and we'll tell you if it's trash or not. Well, Kyle will, because it's his show, UWO, Unpopular Wrestling Opinions. And if you subscribe to the $25 tier, not only do you get all the things I mentioned, plus you get a month of advertising on the SmackDown podcast, so that will be your Twitch or your Instagram or your YouTube, whatever it is you have, we will advertise. And you get shirts. Like this one.
Which you finally got.
That I finally own. It's a concept. It's my new favorite shirt. Literally got it today.
That's great. I am expecting to get a new shirt today. But not specifically SmackDown Pod. Maybe in the future.
Maybe in the future. We'll work out a deal.
Yeah.
We will get you a SmackDown podcast shirt. I say
My
we.
birthday's in April, just in case you need to know.
Birthday's in April. Kyle, if you're listening, I'll be listening. April. All right. So we're really here to talk about Survivor Series, right?
Yes, we are.
So the kickoff show, they announced on Twitter, I think yesterday, that there's going to be a dual brand battle royal. Now, obviously that's got to be the men, because all of their women basically are in
Yeah, in the main card. Also, here's the thing, right before we even get, well, we are in Survivor Series. The thing is, why the hell isn't NXT? I know you've talked about this, that NXT isn't a part of it. I think they would have done such great things for ratings, especially if they incorporated NXT into Survivor Series. They could have main people, main roster wrestlers going on to NXT on Wednesdays, and it could boost the ratings. I just thought it was kind of weird that last year they did it and it was really good, and then now this year it's like nah.
Well, that's one of the weird things is NXT annihilated SmackDown and Raw last year.
Oh, I know it was like pain. Like I like NXT, but I was personally going for Raw because I like AJ, so he was on Raw. So I was Team Raw, and they did the worst. They got one win, and that was in the kickoff show.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was kind of tough. That was hard to watch, but it was still a great pay per view overall. So I was happy about that.
And it's interesting because some of the people who were on the men and women's team for Raw and SmackDown were on Team NXT last year. And they kind of bring it up on commentary, but they don't say Team NXT ever. So
Really, I didn't. I'm trying to think about who.
it was
Like
Bianca,
Bianca Belair was for NXT.
Keith Lee.
Oh, and
Keith Lee was like the big one because he got the
yeah,
respect
he's the
from
one who
Roman.
picked up the win, didn't he? Didn't he pick up the win over Roman? Or no, I think SmackDown won that one.
I think SmackDown might have won that one. I don't remember.
You know what? I think Roman Reigns beat Keith Lee for the win, but that's when he showed like mad respect for him.
Mad
He's like, "You got my
respect. Yeah. So I don't know. I was really looking forward to NXT being a part of it again this year, but NXT's killing it. Make sure you check out our
Yes.
NXT recap. With recently we just had Bama Dave on, so make sure you check that out. YouTube.com/SmackDown Podcast. All right, let's talk about this dual brand battle royal. We have no idea who any of the
Like participants are.
no idea.
So like you can't even predict like, oh, I think this person may win. And then it also didn't say like I guess a prize or something you can get out
Mhm.
of winning. It's just if you win, congrats.
Congratulations.
Like you have your dignity or I don't know.
So why don't we do this? Think of any man on SmackDown and any man on Raw, and that can be just your prediction.
Do you think Dominic? Because Dominic's not on the team, is he? The SmackDown team? Do
Neither
you
is
think
Ray.
maybe they? Neither. Do you think maybe he would or Murphy? Murphy's not on the team either.
He's not.
Like I don't know, because it really depends. Because I just don't like either how they're not giving like oh if you win then you get like a title match in the future
Yeah.
or if you win you like nothing. So I'm trying to think of what could happen and maybe I can sort of see because I know people were talking about like Dominic turning on Rey Mysterio, but I know that those rumors have kind of flown out the window.
Yeah.
So maybe maybe they're like the last two left and they kind of like fight over like, well, who's gonna get the win?
That would be interesting.
Or you know, it would be actually kind of interesting if they're the final three left with Murphy, and Murphy's got to kind of like choose his loyalty with someone.
Oh shit! Wow.
Or unless he just says screw both of them and he wins. I'm like, I already got Aaliyah. That's fine. Aaliyah's on his side.
Shit. I mean, hey, stranger things have happened in WWE.
Yeah. So for all we know, like some random ass legend that's like hardcore SmackDown can come out and like win. Who knows?
There we go. I was thinking about this morning before we shot this. My guess is so if Team Raw ends up winning the Battle Royal, I'm gonna say it's MVP or someone in the Hurt Business, so Cedric or Shelton. And
That's a good one.
If it's SmackDown, I'm going Big E, because he's not on Team SmackDown.
That is ridiculous. But they have King Corbin on the team. Like I will get into this obviously as we go in the card, but all I'm gonna say for right now is that if Big E was in there, my predictions would probably be different.
Yeah, my predictions would be very different if Big E was actually on the
Especially
team.
over King Corbin.
Ugh, I just can't.
Yeah.
All right,
Like-
let's. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. I was just gonna say really quick because it is hard for me to kind of keep up with SmackDown because I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm in like the west side of Texas and we're the only city that's an hour behind the rest of Texas. We're in Mountain Time, they're in Central. SmackDown starts an hour late for me, so I'm already behind, and so it's hard to keep up and it's hard to watch sometimes.
Yeah.
So I try and keep up like on YouTube and stuff. But like, yeah, I was just like, oh my god, like King Corbin is on the team, but not Big E. And not even like Dominic, as much as they sort of pushed him as he was rising in
Yeah.
the main roster.
SmackDown dropped the ball, but
We'll get into that.
it. All right, so let's start with. I have the graphic up, but you can't see it. But when you watch, if you go back and watch it, you'll see.
All
We'll
right.
start with they're calling it like the mid card titles. So, Bobby Lashley, who is the United States champion, taking on Sami Zayn, who is the Intercontinental champion. Who do you have and why?
So that one was a lot harder, surprisingly a little bit, because it could be like I wanted to say Bobby Lashley because he's the bigger, kind of like tougher, and they've kind of made him out to be like this unstoppable, like this unstoppable being of like strength.
Mhm.
But I feel like Sami Zayn is the brains in this situation. He's capable of coming up and pulling something out from who knows where and getting the win by himself, even if it's like a simple roll up, holding the tights kind of thing, or using the ropes. Like, but I think because of all the shit talking Sammy's doing, I think it's gonna cost him, and I'm gonna go with Lashley on this one.
You going
I do
Lashley?
think he might. I think he might try and pull something, like pull a fast one, but I think it's gonna backfire on him. It's not gonna work.
It's a very good
So I'm going
prediction.
with Lashley.
Going Lashley. See, I don't know. It makes it hard. There's a lot, like you said, there's a lot that could happen. Her business
Yeah.
could be ringside. We don't know.
Yeah,
They could be an issue.
That's one thing I have a problem with predictions. I tend to like think of every single little thing that could possibly happen.
Yeah.
Full Gear, for example, I know that's AEW, but I couldn't. I was trying to think of everything. And I set my predictions very last minute. Not very last minute, but pretty last minute because I was like, I was overthinking everything. And that's kind of how it is with my predictions. And that's sometimes why my predictions end up being so bad.
No, I mean, predictions are hard. I never realized how hard predictions were until I started doing the show.
Really?
Yeah. So,
I used to do predictions. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no,
you
go
were
ahead.
saying?
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I feel bad for interrupting. I'm sorry. I was just gonna say that I was in a Facebook group and we used to do predictions all the time, but I've kind of like stopped because they're like hardcore WWE fans, which don't get me wrong, I am too, but they hate AEW, and I'm like, well, shit, I can't talk about anything with them. That's why I'm like, I can't talk anything AEW with them without getting like
kicked out.
attacked. Basically, yeah. So the Full Gear predictions were the first time I ever did predictions since like maybe 2018.
Wow.
So yeah, I was like, I forgot how hard they were. Also, I forgot how stressful it could also be, especially if you're going at a good streak and then that one match just kills
It wrecks you, man. It's awful.
I will never forget Full Gear, but that's okay. That's okay.
So, with thinking about everything, Sami Zayn seems like the smart choice because, yeah, he's been talking a lot of shit, but we saw last week on SmackDown, he tied Apollo Crews to the ring to win.
Yeah, so like, that's what I'm saying. But then also what he did at Clash of Champions when he cuffed like AJ and Jeff to like the ladder and shit, and then like he cuffed Jeff to the ladder and then he cuffed himself to AJ.
Mm-hmm.
So he can pull something out like that. But I still think it's gonna backfire on him because it can only work for so many times, you know?
Yeah. Well, the fact that Sami Zayn is still very much underrated and like he's hellbound on being like, no, I'm a champion. Y'all need to treat me like a champion. I'm going Sami Zayn. I'm going underdog.
You're going Sami Zayn? I would be upset that if Sami won. I just think that his luck has come, like his luck ran out. Is running out, and I think like, you know, since he's been able to do this at Clash of Champions and with Apollo Crews, and he's been able to get out of shit, I think because of that it's gonna come back to him. at Survivor Series. So that's the only reason. But
I
I like
guess-
Sami Zayn, so if he
Yeah.
wins, I won't be upset.
Oh yeah, I'll be ecstatic. I mean, I guess we'll just have to see.
Yeah,
See, predictions
tomorrow.
suck and they're fun at the same time.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
All right, so let's move on to the tag team champions. So that is
Oh, that
the New Day from Raw taking on the Street Profits from SmackDown.
the ones who just hand switched the titles. They did a little flip.
Listen, I was okay with them just
I was
switching
okay
titles.
too. I just thought they would have done something a little better, like maybe like because after the draft, they still had wrestlers who were previously on SmackDown on Raw and vice versa, just like a one last match kind of deal.
Yeah.
So I thought they could have done like a little switching ceremony or something like on Raw. You know, you do it in the middle of the ring and then
Yeah.
like so. But it was okay.
See, I think with a lot of with Street Profits right now and like the relationship they kind of have with Big E. See, this might be my hardest one to figure out besides like the 5-on-5s, because New Day has, I mean, all the potential in the world, like, and the momentum. They're 10-time
Wait, do you mind if I
tag team
look at the
champs.
card on my phone really quick?
No, go ahead.
Okay, I was like, I don't know, like I know.
No,
I don't
you're
know.
good.
I was just because I know you sent me the card, so I'm just gonna look
Yeah.
at it really quick.
No, you're good. See, part of me wants to say Street Profits because, especially because they won the 8-man tag last night, and maybe this will be Street Profits turning heel. I'm gonna put a question mark after it. Ow. I think I'm going Street Profits. As much as I love the New Day, I love the New Day and I love the Profits. I think I'm going Profits.
I think I'm gonna go Profits too, only because you did bring up a heel turn, but I don't think it's gonna be the Street Profits turning heel. I think Big E's gonna cost the New Day. Something like that could happen. And because I know for the longest time, even before the draft split them up years ago, people were saying that Big E was gonna turn heel on the New Day. Maybe this will finally happen. Maybe it will happen at Survivor Series, and Big E costs the New Day the match. So I'm gonna go Profits on this one too.
Wow. All right. So there we go. We got one in common so far. We might
Yeah.
have more.
I think we will have more, at least one more, and I think I know which one it is.
Yeah. I think I know too, but we'll move on to the women. So we have the Raw Women's Champ, Asuka, taking on the SmackDown Champ, Sasha Banks. Who you have for this one?
Okay, it was a little hard because it's also the thing about predictions is that you got to think about who you want. I mean, who you think is gonna win rather than who you want to win. So you can't just predict who you want to win because that's not gonna get you anywhere.
Yeah.
I've learned that the hard way a few years ago.
I learned the hard way last time.
Full Gear.
Yeah, Full Gear. Yeah, we're not gonna talk about it.
It's okay. It's okay. We won't. We're not talking about Full Gear predictions. No, but because like I think because last time Asuka and Sasha Banks faced each other, Asuka won. And but Sasha Banks was a heel at the time. Do you think maybe because she's a face, she has a better chance of beating Asuka?
I don't know. I mean, something to think about for this is, will Carmella get involved in any way, shape, or form?
She's not on the SmackDown team, right? For the women? No.
She's not. I mean, and on Friday night, she basically kicked the crap out of Sasha, and Asuka was just watching.
Yeah, so maybe Asuka doesn't hey, it's an advantage for her. I think Carmella also it's a lot of this has to do with interference. Think about it. We just said with the Hurt Business, and then we said with Big E, and now Carmella. But I honestly think Asuka needs to get back that mojo she had, but not the NXT one exactly, because there's no way she could ever go back to being that. But around the time when she was feuding with Sasha and Bayley, she was unstoppable and she was up there. She kind of went into oblivion afterwards. And I think if she beats Sasha again, I think she'll kind of get that stamina back. So for that reason, I'm going to go with Asuka. And not just because I don't like Sasha Banks.
I also am going with Asuka.
All right, we got another one in common.
Another one, yeah. Well, it's kind of for the same reasons you said. Asuka, everyone forgets she's champ. She's basically an afterthought on Raw. Like, nobody remembers that she's the Raw Women's Champion, and that's nothing against Asuka. Like, she's fantastic in the ring,
Yeah,
hilarious on the mic.
it's more like of a management issue.
Exactly. So I think if you have Asuka win, then you can have Carmella beat the crap out of Sasha afterwards if you really want,
Or even during, it's okay.
or even during, whatever
Or like
y'all's
even if
heart's
it's
desires.
even if it's something simple like her music hits and she like at least walks up to the ramp and then she gets distracted and then boom, gets her in the Asuka lock. And then
Yeah.
that could also build that feud even more. Like Sasha could be like, you know what, that's it. You like, I wanna like, and they, baby faces do this all the time. Like, I want to fight you, but not just that. I want to put my title on the line. Like,
Yeah. Which
it's so cliche for the
I
baby
still
face.
can't even get behind the fact that Sasha's a babyface, but that's neither here nor
Maybe
there.
it's just because I don't like her. I'm like, I wanted her to lose to Bailey, and Bailey's supposed to be the bad guy. But like, I'm sorry. I know this is very biased, but I was totally behind Bailey when she turned her back on Sasha. I was like, get her, Bailey. Get her.
It made sense. Like, we've talked about it on here before. It makes sense
Oh,
that she
yeah,
turned her back. I mean,
I
they're
just
both
thought it would've
shitty people
happened
doing shitty things to each other.
Yeah, it was bound to happen. It
Mhm.
was so obviously gonna happen, but I just thought it would have happened a lot sooner. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm glad they were able to settle it in Hell in a Cell. It's a great way. If not a big pay-per-view, Hell in a Cell is definitely like one of the matches, at least the stipulations that you got to do.
Exactly.
Because it kind of reminded me, not obviously not as good, no offense to them, but it kind of reminded me of Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins in 2014. That Hell in a Cell match was about like basically like it was everything about, it was more personal, like,
Yeah.
the fact that they settled it in Hell in a Cell was just, it was a good way to, like, I guess, end the feud, if you will.
Cherry on top.
Exactly. And it was a great match. I
It
loved
was
it so
great.
much.
All right, so we go from the women's championship to the men's championship. So we have Drew McIntyre, the WWE champ from Raw, taking on Roman, Tribal Chief, head of the table, whatever you want to call him, the
The leader.
Universal Champion on SmackDown.
Is he still the guy?
I don't think he's the guy anymore. Now he's just the chief. He's the Tribal Chief.
Yeah, he's the head of the table.
Listen, the obvious answer here is Roman.
Yeah, okay, I was gonna say that too, because like I think, and even my dad asked me about this. He's like, "Who do you think is gonna win?" And I was like, "Well, the only reason why I say Roman, I love McIntyre to death. You know that. I love and adore Drew McIntyre. I was so happy when he won, but as much as I love him, I think he's gonna lose. It's gonna be a great match. I just think he's gonna come up short to Roman. I just think Roman hasn't lost since he's changed like this. Granted, he really hasn't had matches, but he's still way up there. I just think having him lose would just really bring him down. It would bring this whole Tribal Chief, this aggressive, new Roman Reigns. It would just definitely bring that down. And I don't think they're gonna do that. Number one. Number two, I think Roman Reigns is gonna win, and then I think The Miz is gonna cash in on Drew McIntyre while he's out and done. Because I think it's gonna be a brutal match. You have two of the biggest wrestlers, biggest names, going at it. It's gonna be a good match, and I feel like they're gonna be just so tired and, giving everything they got. I think The Miz is gonna cash in. That's gonna, especially since Drew has been preventing him from cashing in all these times. I think it's gonna be revenge.
Oh my god, I didn't even think about The Miz cashing in. Oh god.
Like, my boy The Miz.
Oh man. Yeah.
It's gonna be after the match, though, I think.
For sure after.
Imagine during the match. It's like, wait just a second, Roman.
He slides in. He's like,
wait, it's obviously not gonna happen, but if it were to happen, would that mean, like, since it's champion versus champion, does, like, Miz just take over in the match? Or would he? If that were to happen?
I don't know how it works in that scenario, because when Rollins cashed in at Mania, it became a triple threat, and he ended up pinning Roman, who wasn't the champion.
Yeah.
But
no, but I mean, like,
but with this, I don't know. I guess whoever he ends up beating, he takes their title. If it were to come to that.
I think it's what I mean is, like, I think he's gonna cash in on Drew because he's on the Raw roster. So it's like, if he's cashing, it will be on Drew. But like, if Miz cashes in successfully, and he's the champ now. What happens from there? Because it's supposed to be champion versus champion. So does Miz just take over for Drew, or do they keep going, or is the match over and Raw gets the win?
I
That
don't
would be
know.
something. That would
That-
be confusing, but also I would like to see what they would do.
I
if
was
they ever did do
confused
that.
listening to you. My God.
I'm like, oops. I'm like, sorry.
Oh no, that
But
it's a lot of what ifs, and that's one of the reasons predictions are
the
both
worst.
fun and the worst. All right, let's move on to the first, which I'm guessing will be the first traditional 5-on-5, the women's. So we have Team Raw, which consists of the tag team champions, Shayna and Nia Jax. We have Peyton Royce, Lacey Evans, and Lana taking on Team SmackDown, which was just completed on Friday. Bianca Belair, the Riot Squad, which is Ruby Riot and Liv Morgan, Natalya, and deeming herself captain, Bayley. Who do you have for this and why?
Okay, before I get into that, I think because you know how the tag team champions can be literally on any brand?
Yeah.
That would have been a perfect time to like have them defend the titles, you get me? Against SmackDown.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that.
But now they're on the team, so it's okay. We're not gonna get into that. But I think I'm gonna probably go with the SmackDown women. I know they just completed their roster just yesterday, but you have the likes of Bayley and you have the likes of Bianca Belair in, and I think Bianca might be like kind of like the one, kind of like the Braun Strowman. I think was it last year or one of the years where he like took out like 3 of like the 5 men from the opposite team.
I think it was last year, because I think he took out part of NXT too, or I might just be hallucinating and it wasn't last year.
Or maybe it was like the Raw. It was like probably the first one, like
Maybe.
the first, cause like it was like when it was like SmackDown with like Ellsworth and Shane and stuff. Or I don't know. I'll have to go. I'll have to go back and see. But I know in one of them, I believe Strowman like took out 3 of the 5, and I think Bianca Belair is gonna be that, you know, that powerhouse in the match. Also, Raw. First of all, they just got Peyton Royce and Lacey Evans out of nowhere, and I know saying that is kind of like SmackDown. They just finished theirs, but I think like this whole conflict with Lana and Nia Jax is gonna cost them the match. I think either like Lana's gonna lose it for them, or she like I don't know. I just feel like something might happen. I think they're bickering and they're fighting, and their side conflict is what's gonna cost them. So I'm gonna go with SmackDown women on this one.
See, part of me wants to say SmackDown women too, but you also have, yes, the conflict with Lana and Nia and Shayna. That could end up leading to Lana being like the sole survivor for Raw.
Imagine.
Exactly. Imagine that. Imagine Lana, who got put through a table 9 out of 10 weeks, becomes the sole survivor and wins it for Team Raw.
That actually makes a lot of sense. Like,
See-
but it's like her and Natty kind of had like
Weird
you know
beef.
yeah, and is it Natty on the team on SmackDown?
Yeah.
I feel like, well, maybe I don't know, maybe well, because I feel like Lana technically got her revenge on Natty when she won that battle royale.
Yeah.
What was the bet for the championship?
A number 1 contender.
Yeah,
title shot, yeah.
I was like, because it was on an episode of Raw, so it was like that the title match at least. So I know she got revenge on that, so maybe Natty will get revenge on Lana, or maybe Lana will try to like show like, you know what, she's been trying to prove herself. I think she's gonna want to prove herself again by starting off the match and just get clobbered, and she's the first one out. That could happen, but I think something similar might happen in the men's match, which we'll get into right now.
Yeah.
So I don't think maybe that will happen, because I think it would more than likely happen on the men's one than this one.
Yeah. So because I think it's more than likely gonna implosion will happen more so on the men's team, I'm going Raw women's just for the sole fact that I want to see Lana be the sole survivor.
You want to see, because now that you mentioned that, I didn't even think of that. Is it too late to switch?
No.
I was like, I think I might switch, because I didn't even think of that, because I did think about the bickering and shit, and I think like I thought Nia was gonna like make Lana lose, and then like it's gonna cost them.
Hmm.
But I didn't even think of that about having Lana as the sole survivor.
Dude, like
That would be like
you could
huge for her.
picture it. Nia puts her through the table in the very beginning of the match because she's like, I don't want to deal with her.
Kind of like a Dolph Ziggler situation in 2014 when
Kinda.
like he was by himself. I don't think she'll take out 3 people,
No.
but I think like she'll be the last one standing, barely up there, barely, and she'll get it.
I'm going for the sole fact I want Lana to be the sole survivor.
Okay, you know what? I didn't even think of that. So because you brought that up, I'm gonna go with Raw. I'm gonna go Team Raw. So
There we
you've
go.
convinced me.
Nailed it. That's what I
I'm
do.
like, Katie, but if you're wrong about this,
Hey, if I'm wrong, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm wrong a
no,
lot
it's
of the
okay.
time.
No, but I think it's a very good point. I don't think they would just put her through tables for nothing,
Yeah.
just to get nothing out of it.
There's some
So I think,
payoff here.
yeah, I think so.
All right, and the final match, the other traditional 5-on-5, the men's traditional 5-on-5. Team Raw, we have Keith Lee, Braun Strowman, the phenomenal one, AJ Styles, Riddle, not Matt
Right.
Riddle, and Sheamus, just Riddle, taking on the SmackDown team of Kevin Owens, newly added Otis, Jey Uso, the Messiah himself, Seth Rollins, and King Corbin. Now, AJ stated it on Raw that Raw's team looks fantastic and dominant as hell on paper, but they're gonna implode.
Oh, this is kind of also why I thought the SmackDown one were gonna win. I just kind of also thought about like who's gonna like win how many matches. But because here's what I was thinking. You know how AJ has been not only declaring himself as team captain, and everyone has been telling him, "You're not the captain. Like,
Mhm.
stop saying that." But then also he's been trying to make things better and bring everyone together to become a cohesive unit for the for Survivor Series. But all he's done is made shit worse and drive everyone further apart.
Mhm.
So what if, like, as the team captain, as he says, this is what I was talking about earlier, that how I think something might happen. What if he claims he's the team captain? He's like, I'm the team captain. I'll start things off. Don't worry about it. And he's the one who gets first eliminated right at the beginning. And then after that, Raw becomes more dominant and they're more together because they all have one thing in common, and that's their disdain for AJ. And now that he's gone, they're like, all right, he's gone, he's out of the picture. Let's win this.
That is so funny. Could
I
you
don't know why.
imagine?
Because like remember when he was the special guest referee for that one match, the tag team match, and he just kept getting like hit in the head, and he kept getting like trampled, and I think that's probably, I just kind of pictured that, and then I pictured like that's probably gonna happen to him at Survivor Series. He's gonna say, "I'm the captain. You guys get out. Stop fighting. This and that," and he's gonna turn around, and the first he's gonna meet something. I don't know what it is who from which member, but I just think maybe even if it's just the stunner from Kevin Owens, and then that's it. 1, 2, 3, AJ's out. I don't think, I would hope they don't do AJ dirty like this, but I just think it would be so funny because he has been calling himself the team captain. He's been like trying to bring everyone together, but only making things worse. So I could see it happening, but it would break my heart just a little if I'm right.
See, I would love to see that just for the sheer fact of his freak out afterwards. Like I'm not gonna do an AJ. I'm not gonna do an AJ impression. That's Kyle's thing.
Not like Kyle.
Yeah, not Kyle. Kyle's is hysterical. Mine would just be awful. He would just be freaking out. He'd be like, "No, that doesn't count. Like, no, I wasn't pinned. What are you talking about? No."
Or like maybe he could have like kicked out at 2, but it was actually a 3 count. No, that was 2. It was 2.
Yeah, and then like his associate could get involved. See, part of me just wants to think it's going to be the SmackDown team, but like Kevin Owens and Jey Uso got some beef. Who else is on the team? Seth and Kevin got issues from the past. Otis is just there.
Seth is kind of like bossy also because he's the Messiah. He's kind of like AJ, but like instead of trying to bring everyone together and be the captain, Seth would be the one who's like, I'm better than you, so you have to listen to me.
I mean,
because AJ's never really brought up like I'm better. He just thinks he's the captain.
See, because then let's see, SmackDown, Raw, SmackDown.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at like if like based on my predictions, how many would each win? Like, so it'd be
1, 2, 3. Wow. I mean, there's. I'm gonna.
actually no. Wait, I actually got because I did switch with the Raw, but it's still when I was kind of thinking about it before we did this, I was thinking the end result would be 4-2, right? 4-2 in favor of Raw because of how bad they did last year and just because of like
Yeah.
just based on looking at everything. And when I looked at the card, that's how if I am since I'm going with I haven't said I'm going with Raw, but I think I'm gonna go with Raw because of that. And I think, and when I do, it's gonna be 4-2 in favor of Raw with my predictions. If that makes sense. I know I'm like
No, that makes sense. See, I'm going SmackDown's team, the men's team, because I just think the implosion of the men's team on Raw is just it's gonna happen. It's gonna cost them.
I just think it would be a little obvious if that happened. If they, because like it looks like, because usually normally in Survivor Series they're all riled up. They're all like, oh, we're Team Raw. They're all like in favor. They're all together. They don't care what kind of differences they've had in the past. They don't care if they're a face or a heel. They're together. They're a unit. They're one. They're a team. But this has never really happened. Like, if you think about it, there has never been so much division in a team, especially this late into like the buildup of Survivor Series. They had not shown once that they were like together.
Yeah.
Like we're so I think because of that, I think they're finally gonna come together at the expense of AJ on Sunday and come out with the win.
See. I don't know. God bless.
But then also, do you think that Raw would win both?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think the Raw women's will win, or I want them to win. I say think. I really want them to win. So that's why I think the men's, because there's no way they're gonna win both. I can't remember a time when.
Well, actually, it wasn't the first one. I think it was the second one because I know the first one. The first time they've ever done Raw versus SmackDown, it was just the 5-on-5 teams. It was and like I think like the cruiserweight title was like on the line. What Raw versus SmackDown, like one from Raw, one from SmackDown. But it was just the tag teams, the men and the women. And so I remember Becky Lynch was the captain for the SmackDown women, and she was the Raw woman. She was the SmackDown champ.
Mm-hmm.
And then I forgot. I think Charlotte was the Raw Women's champion at the time, and she was the captain.
Probably.
So, but then the year after, I think Stephanie kind of like gave like an ultimatum. I think I'm trying to remember to the Raw roster and said if like you don't get a clean sweep against SmackDown, like there's gonna be like consequences. And they ended up, except on the kickoff show, they ended up clean sweeping SmackDown, and I was so pissed. So I think for that reason, it's possible that they can win both matches.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still going SmackDown.
Yeah, I'm still gonna go. I'll still go Raw, but I'm just saying, like, it is possible. So.
It's very possible. I mean, and with WWE, you never freaking know.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you never know because they can pull something random out of the air. Maybe all of a sudden NXT's here.
Oh, an NXT invasion at the very end. Oh, that'd be beautiful.
Imagine that would actually be pretty cool.
I'd be down, but then it would just make me mad that we wouldn't get anything out of it. So there's no point.
No build up. That's just it. Like no build up, nothing new. That's it. It just happens.
Yeah,
and
that's
everyone goes on about their day.
Yeah, that's exactly what they would do, and NXT doesn't deserve that.
Yeah, that's true. They're like they have like the best of what's going on in WWE right now.
True.
The best storylines, the best feuds, the best matches.
Yeah. Basically.
I'm like, it's okay to agree. It's all WWE here.
Nah, I mean you're basically right. And like Raw has been like the C show in WWE, so it happens.
I know. I'm like, and my boy AJ's on Raw.
It's all right.
I miss when Seth was on Raw because, like I said, it's harder for me to catch up on SmackDown. I'll have to like sometimes I gotta go back and watch or like find YouTube videos, something, or watch a recap, watch Smack Raw Pod recap to know what happened. But I just miss when Seth was on Monday Night Raw because I like the whole Messiah thing. I thought that shit was hilarious. Still is, but like I just think I could see. I more than likely could watch it on Raw than I could on SmackDown.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Survivor Series is tomorrow, or could have already happened, depending on when you watch this. So those are our Survivor Series predictions. Let us know your predictions in the comments below. You can tweet at us at SmackDrawPod. You can tweet Savannah at
Y2 Garcia with an underscore. Make sure to add the underscore because then it's not me.
then it's not her. And you can also tweet at me at Katie Raslin with a W, no G13, if you really want to tell us that you agree with our opinions or you think our predictions are wrong. And you can
Or like they're the worst.
Tell
it's
us
okay.
why. It's
I
fine.
know my predictions suck. I was very surprised last pay-per-view we did.
I know you killed it last pay-per-view.
I'm not even gonna talk about it. I'm
That'll
not
be
going to.
that'll be for after. Well, thank you guys again for watching. Stay tuned on Sunday after Survivor Series. Me and Kevin and possibly Kyle, to be determined, will run over Survivor Series. So until then, we'll see you guys later. Bye bye.
Bye.